All right, I see there are more and more people joining. So if you're trying to figure out what it is that you signed up for, today's topic of conversation is career in sustainability. And we have two amazing speakers joining us today to share how they got started on this journey and how they've made the most of this journey. So we'll get into the topic shortly. But while we are getting started, you can share in the chat what you're currently working on and connect with each other, build your network in sustainability field, and I would suggest LinkedIn, but of course it's up to you. While you're reading other introductions, I'll also do a short introduction to who I am and what I'm up to. So my name is Christine. I'm the founder of Your Impact House, and I've been working as sustainability advisor for the last 2 years. I mostly work with SMEs and VC funds, mostly in tech because that's where my previous background is. And before starting on this journey as advisor, I was developing and launching a CSR strategy for a global unicorn company called Printify. And before that, in my previous life, in the startup ecosystem, I was working with a nonprofit tech conference called TechChill and a B2B accelerator, Startup Wise Guys. And my role has always been to bring people together and create experiences that support the growth of others. And I'll share a little bit more on that a little bit later. Yes, and if you like the sound of my voice or you want to learn about sustainability, you can also check out my YouTube channel. I'm just getting started there, so don't be too harsh. But I'm trying to put out videos that will be useful for you as you get started with sustainability in your business as well. Okay, so today's agenda, we have two amazing speakers who will be sharing how they get started, how they made most of their journey, and practical tips and tricks to help you succeed on this journey as well. And as you can see, at the end of the event, we'll have a Q&A session. So if while you're listening to what they're sharing, you happen to have any questions, just leave them in the chat. And I'll go through them and moderate them and ask them to Jekaterina and Liudvikas at the end of the event. So that's another treat for you. So you definitely stay till the end of the event because that usually is the most interesting part, at least for me. We'll see how this goes. Okay, but before we get started, I want to share about an unexpected twist of a journey in my sustainability journey as well. As I said, I've been working as a community builder, as program coordinator in my previous careers. And I figured it's time I do something similar in sustainability space as well. So couldn't be more excited to launch ESG Strategy Know-How. It's an online program for sustainability managers like myself back in the day that are just getting started with building and developing an ESG strategy for their business. So during the 6-week online program, we will guide the new and ambitious sustainability managers through the twists and turns of building the very first ESG strategy. During this process, we will guide them, and as a result of the program, the participants will have an ESG strategy development roadmap, basically a step-by-step process that they will know how to take themselves, and also will be confident to guide the other team members through the process of building and implementing and launching an ESG strategy for their business. So applications are open till October 23rd, October 9. But we are starting the program on October 23rd. We will have limited seats available. So yeah, let me know if you would like to be part of that. Basically, how the program works is that during the 6 weeks, you'll spend 2 hours online going through workshops and lectures, and we'll be covering topics from how to get started, how to carry out an ESG materiality assessment, all the way through working with ESG data, building the actual strategy, and turning that strategy into action. And the most importantly, at the end, we'll also cover how to present the ESG strategy internally to the leadership team and how to communicate it publicly. Yes, so that's a very exciting program that we've been working on for some time already. This is the mentor crew that we've currently gathered, but it is still in the process, and we'll have a couple of more people joining, and I couldn't be more excited about that as well. So Maija Aboliņa-Thompsone, she is the co-founder of the idea and has over 10 years of practical experience working in the field, so has been very big part of creating the curriculum and making sure that it is practical. And the other mentors too. Essentially, we want to eliminate the consulting from the agenda of the new sustainability manager. We want to eliminate that part because honestly, it's not always the most efficient part. Usually, people in the companies already know the answers, and they just need to understand the know-how of how to actually carry out the process. So the mentors that I've selected are going to be the ones who are ready to give you, the participants, the access to the know-how so you can get started and move from learning about sustainability to actually creating a positive impact. Okay. My only ask here is please share it with someone who might benefit it. After the webinar, I'll send a short follow-up email with the key information. And if you could just forward it to 1 or 2 people, you would help this idea make form, basically. So I'm going to forward you more information. I'm going to cross my fingers that you're going to share it with someone. And I'm thanking you in advance for joining this webinar, for being part of this, and supporting this journey. Whew. Okay, that was something. That was exciting. I hope you'll find this useful for your journey as well. But now let's get into the agenda. And the first speaker for today is Jekaterina Minajeva, Head of Sustainability at Printify. Jekaterina, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Christina, and thank you for sharing this exciting news about the program, because honestly, when I just started my journey, there wasn't enough information out there, and all information is somewhere, and you need to watch a lot of YouTube videos, you need to read a lot of articles, and nothing was structured enough so you can have like the framework how you build your strategy and what you do when you just join the company. And but I will tell you about my journey and about my experience in the field. I also have some slides, and please let me know if you can see my screen now, if you can see my slides. Great. So yes, once again, hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining. Christina, thank you very much for having me here, and I just wanted to say that since I switched my focus to sustainability, I have been living in a bubble of an expanding number of sustainability professionals. I'm 100% positive that this is the area of business which must focus on navigation the new normal, the warming planet. And sustainability professionals promote sustainable practices, innovation. They contribute to a healthy planet and a better quality of life for future generations as well. And I'm happy and honestly beyond excited to share my story of how I became what I am and how I found out who I want to be when I grow up. I don't remember exactly when and where I started thinking about climate change. Of course, like many people in the field, I can tell you the story of traveling across Southeast Asia and being terrified to see tons of garbage, poor communities, kids begging for money instead of being at school. But I also have a more distant memory of my early childhood when I was still at school. I participated in an exchange program and my family hosted a girl from Italy who came to Latvia for the summer. I was maybe 15 years old back then. And when this girl from Italy, Marta was her name, she asked where we recycle waste and where she should throw her Coca-Cola plastic bottle. I was honestly shocked, ashamed, amused, all at the same time. She explained me the recycling program they had in Italy. And since then, I have constantly pushed my parents to recycle. It was more than 20 years ago. And you can imagine how happy my dad was to store all plastic bottles and paper separately in our apartment and then drive it all to the farthest recycling facility in the city. But then I graduated from school, went to study economics at university, and it seemed like a clear career choice back then. So I spent the first 15 years of my career working in finance. I worked as a head of debt collection, first in the biggest private bank in Latvia, but quickly I switched to micro-lending platforms. The company's culture and the way of doing business were more fast-paced, and I was very much interested in international business. And my area of responsibilities included many international markets. I worked with Spain, Denmark, Kazakhstan, also Russia, Ukraine, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, the Philippines. We issued payday loans, like microloans, and my job was to bring that money back with the increased interest, of course. And I worked in international business. I managed a remote team of more than 300 people. I had a stable income and a lot of many tropical business trips. But deep inside, I wasn't happy about this, and I wasn't really proud when I told people about my job. Then the pandemic happened, with all anxiety, stress, isolation, cancellation of all the plans. You all been there, you know what I'm talking about. And I went through enormous self-crisis, and I went through self-discovery, self-development phase. I started regularly working out, meditating. I went to psychotherapy. And I finally had an opportunity to slow down and listen to myself. For the first time, I started thinking about what I want to be when I grow up. I realized that I didn't want to work in debt collection, that was for sure. But I didn't know what else I could do. Of course, it all came together with the stereotypes and in my head that in our small country, in Latvia, there is not much choice. And I was afraid to start from the very, very beginning. And I started career coaching. Slowly, I discovered that long ago, I had forgotten interest in climate change, sustainability, corporate development. I did a huge market research to identify what kind of professions are there, how legislation is changing, what are the future trends. And I realized that I actually have plenty of transferable soft skills, and I just needed to develop stronger hard skills. So I developed a career strategy for myself. It included a step-by-step plan for what kind of education do I need, what kind of activities I should take. I built a plan for growing my network. I started an online blog where I posted articles about sustainability, climate change, ESG, all that. I started writing about innovations, my daily eco-friendly habits on my Instagram. I started regularly posting sustainability-related articles on LinkedIn. So my plan was that when the time came and I would start actively searching for a job, I would already have had the base for that. So it wouldn't be like an overnight job application out of blue. So I was already trying to show my knowledge and experience in the field to my future employers, like my potential future employers. I also took several courses on sustainability, one of which was at Cambridge University. I learned so much from it. And I've seen in the chat that someone also wrote about Cambridge University online program, which is like really amazing stuff to get the base for your knowledge. Also, I took sustainability course from Ecoism, a Norwegian consultancy agency, which was also very helpful. Of course, I scheduled time to take care of my finances, to be ready to leave my previous job, and I boosted my financial safety pillow. And then I quit my previous job, and with Latvian unemployment benefits and my savings, I was ready to spend up to 1 year between jobs. And I wasn't rushing to take the first offer and settle for the less. I did small consultancy projects here and there, while sending my CVs and applications for job for all sustainability positions in the market. And I honestly strongly believe in networking, and that's why it's amazing what we do here. We gather together because network is that's how Printify found me. Someone from my network recommended me, and many conversations later, Printify CEO admitted that she checked my blog post and LinkedIn activity before making the final decision to hire me. Currently I work as head of sustainability at Printify. I feel lucky and happy to switch jobs and industries without stepping backward and having an opportunity to pursue my true values, which I have such a long way of discovering. What lessons did I learn in the last couple of years? Once you find your true values, you won't struggle with finding motivation to do what you do. You will accept long hours and working over weekends during your peak productivity periods. You won't blame yourself for procrastinating during your low energy periods. Of course, I'm talking only about my own experience, and I would like to warn everybody out there of the burnout on the way. I combined my full-time job in debt collection with learning how to make a website for my blog, and I studied sustainability over the summer evenings and summer weekends. I had a huge motivation to do it, and I do a meaningful job now, and this is also driving my motivation. Another lesson is about having a strategy. It helped me to zoom out and see my big goal and remember it at all the time. It's exactly like taking the baby steps. Like, okay, today we start talking to friends and family about climate change. Tomorrow we launch a blog. Next month we probably apply for head of sustainability at Apple or Google, who knows. And of course, the last but not the least is trusting the process. I believe that the world is full of opportunities. And if you're working hard enough, if you're persistent enough, apparently you will find a way. And trust the strength of the weak ties, build a network, keep educating yourself, follow the market trends, and opportunities will keep coming your ways. If my story will inspire at least one person who listens today to take that leap and try, this will be very rewarding for me. And I want to leave you with one inspirational idea. Like, this is our planet. Climate disaster, pollution, diseases, refugees. So many headlines are about catastrophes. But this is also our planet. New technologies, clean energy, so many people working daily towards a better future for us and the next generations. And if you tell stories to people around you, then together we can bring even more value to even a better world. Take the jump and come to work in sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you. This was so nice and inspiring. I'm ready to take a leap once more. Thank you, Jekaterina. If you happen to have any questions about Jekaterina's strategy or the steps that she took, please leave them in the chat. We will address them at the end of the webinar. I definitely have a couple of questions for you. So even if we don't have questions from the audience, I'll take the opportunity and ask away.
Cool.
Okay, Jekaterina, thank you so much. We have one more presentation on the agenda today. Liudvikas, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting, Christina. Of course, always pleasure to share the knowledge and so on. Okay, I'll start sharing my slides.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you should see it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm Liudvikas and I work in Rimi, so who lives in Baltic states should very well know the brand Rimi. We are one of the biggest food retailers. I think we are second by size in Baltic states. And I work here as a sustainability manager. Theoretically, we are named a corporate responsibility function. That's originally from Sweden. That's how we are called. So I'm not like sustainability manager in the company, but corporate responsibility. But actually, these are synonyms, and it's about the same. And I will share today how that work looks from inside. I will skip maybe that big part, how I became to that one. We'll touch a bit, but main focus will be on daily basis, various challenges, and then wins and fails and so on. Hope you will have good interest in that. So just the first steps, how I became a sustainability professional. I think it all was already settled up in the childhood, in genes, yeah. I have big interest in environment. I was not reading Dostoevsky or whatever other books, or Moby Dick, whatever. I was reading encyclopedias about environment. I was very good in geographic, for example. I was even participating in the country, like those championships, who knows more, the capital cities and rivers in Africa. So I found it very interesting. I was discovering, let's say, my all villages were close by quite big rivers. So I had research fields. I was cleaning them. I was creating dams, fishing, swimming. It was the best time, I think, in the childhood spent exactly in close to the nature. So when it came to choose the path, I was quite sure I want to go to ecology. At that time, there was not much of choice, actually, in Lithuania. And that ecology bachelor was just a second year study. So the quality was, so-so. Some even decans, they were showing print screens from Wikipedia. So I understood that actually, if you want to learn sustainability stuff, you have to either read everything in English or simply go and work. And that was my ideology. I skipped master's degree. I didn't find any reason to go there. I stepped straight away to business. But still 7 years was working in a sales function, was selling stuff via various departments. And after those 7 years, I said to myself, I remember that even day, I'm in the store, the forklift, pulling the pallet in the sales area, and then I thought, how long I will still do that? I need to go to sustainability, where I really want. And actually in 1 month, I became a sustainability compliance auditor. And 3 years I was checking many suppliers on site, and we had a sustainability compliance, a checklist, so questions about environment, about social things, about governance, etc. was really interesting, but kind of, compliance is straightforward, very narrow, and you can't improvise too much, otherwise you're not auditor, but something else. So I looked for another more inspiring and probably more creative work, and I found Rimi. So here I am, 4 years in Rimi as a corporate responsibility expert manager, everything at once. Now, how the day, I would say not a day, but how a week would look like. It's very busy work. Why? Because, you know, sustainability, it's a huge umbrella. Everything falls under it. Commercial things like assortment, like packaging, it falls. What we are selling, is it certificate? Is it, you know, plastic related topic or whatever? Lots of questions, strategies, meetings, just simple team meetings, etc., etc. So actually, that's quite typical working week. And I am creating also fake meetings just to block time to have, you know, time at least to do something. So that's what I found. It works well. Some people are asking me, so what the hell, Liudvikas? You are all 3 weeks busy. What's happening with you? No, then okay, I will find some time for you, especially. But it's busy, really busy. The good thing that in company we have Fridays almost empty of meetings, almost. And I'm using that time really for developing something cool and new. Now about responsibilities. It's a hell of them, like really, from A to Z. Because, you know, when you're one person, no, okay, not one person, now 1.5 person, we can say, in a company, which size of 13,000 people, there are 12 huge departments. And we have in the office, for example, I think around 2,000 people. So you are responsible for many things, what is at least related to sustainability. The biggest job is actually managing all stakeholders. So you need to manage low inside teams, external things. You need to manage board. You need to manage Swedes, you know, who always interested in that you would do everything perfectly. So communication helps a lot. Time management helps a lot. But stakeholders are really like the biggest responsibility from my side. Then I put data analysis. So I'm not data analytic, definitely, but in sustainability, there are plenty of it. Food waste data, I can show you 25 megabytes Excel, how it looks like, you know, 1 month screenshot. So there is always a choice. You can ask data analyst, do it for me, but what it will mean, you will wait for another 4 weeks. And he will bring you kind of 60% of what you needed. So in this case, what you have to do to learn data analysis. So let's say I'm not programmer or something, but I read the data. I knew a few tricks with Excel. I have experience with Power BI. It helps a lot every day. Then strategy development. So we get big ambitions from group. Mainly it's coming from Sweden. But it's not like Sweden decides and you do. Usually we are always in discussion, what we can achieve, what we cannot do, and so on and so on. And then we need to implement the target. For example, we need to cut food waste by 50% by 25. How? It's our business. For Sweden, we don't care. You just need to deliver. And when we try to answer, so what we do, we manage stakeholders, we do data analysis, and we create the strategy. Over the years, what we can do in 23 and 24 and 25, what is the risks and so on. So that's the strategy what we are developing. I would say in year about 1 or 2, it's always. And also we are updating some of them. So it's a constant work. What else? So we have compliance. And by that, I mean, we have, as a company, many certificates. Standards, and each and single standard certificate now also has questions about sustainability. Do you have this? Do you have that? How are you doing this or that? Functions, documents, etc. So I'm also supporting in this stage. Targets, in that sense that, again, if we speak about food waste, you can wait that someone will define the clear targets, or you can do it yourself by taking data analysis. So the targets also, we are defining where is our area, for example, for CO2, for plastic, for food waste. We are giving the direction for the company, of course, by aligning with stakeholders. So you see, it's always repeating, but it's so connected. All responsibilities are very connected. What else more interesting? Also, ambassador in that sense that, I'm now representing Rimi. I have quite often questions from the media, not always like with a camera, but via email. So, you need to know how to reply. You need to know what not to mention, what to mention, in what tone, and so on and so on. So lots of things. And that makes this job absolutely opposite to like routine job. It's always something new, always something going on, always something challenging, always something, damn, haven't thought about that, and so on. But that's what it makes this job very, very cool. I like it. I love it. Absolutely in my shoes, I think. But not everything is perfect, trust me. There are plenty of challenges. And I grouped them in main three. So the number one is market is not ready. How to understand that? We tend to collect inputs and ideas from our workers. Also, external partners are coming and offering you, hey, it's a nice tool. Every startup thinks we are creating the best and the most promising product, but in reality, 90% of them are failing in the first year. And that's what we also see, that's what we know, and we can't take every single idea because I will need then 25 team people. We can take some of them. So we are evaluating them very carefully, taking into account our experience, what experts are saying, what researchers are giving, and so on, and also sometimes gut feeling. And what works in Sweden, in Germany, in UK, absolutely could be opposite to Lithuania. I can even say that in Baltics, 3 countries, they are very different. Estonia is very digital, Latvia is another, Lithuania is a 3rd country. So market is not ready quite often, and that's quite often answer. But sorry, we won't do because we are not ready. We are not willing to invest. Then a second thing is limited resources. I think very common challenge. And I think in sustainability, like in any other team, you need to respect it. Company is not like endless. It has limited amount to invest money. It has limited people resources as well. So once we are taking something, sometimes we're even skipping it because no matter that we believe in it, but we know that we won't be able to complete it. Maybe it's not according to our priorities, or maybe we know that we won't get at this stage budget. But we need to respect that. Otherwise, if you will continuously like pushing and doing, and then 25 projects, all of them medium stage, 2 years passed, no results, so people will start looking at you a bit, Liudvikas, he's a bit vague. So I'm focusing actually, and that helps also. Focus on things, on priorities, and then you will manage. Now, a third thing, not the most positive topic. Why? Because it is so. Climate change, waste, how people are treated, how many human rights issues we have, especially in emerging countries. It's always there. And I think you have to read about it to know what is the reality. But you have to fight inside yourself not to be too pessimistic, too depressive about it, and so on. No matter that with every single United Nations climate change report, they are always stating things are getting worse than we before thought. Every time we are stating that, you still have to have that positiveness in you. Otherwise, if you go depressive in teams and ask, okay, help me to do this project, I need money, they will say, he's in a bad mood, maybe something wrong with his wife. Let's not bother with him. So you have to fight with it. You will not save the world, but you can do something else maybe. And rewards. Now, if you do the right things, the right focus, with the right attitude, and so on, you can really achieve significant things on local level. I'm not speaking about world. I'm not focusing on world. I don't know what's happening in actually outside Baltics too much because I know that I won't be able to influence that in general. But I can try to influence Baltic states. So, for example, we focused a lot in 22 on food waste. Almost all topics were set aside. And we achieved the record year in reduction of it. We donated 3,000 tons of food. And that was, no, I mean, in general, we didn't believe even ourselves that we could reach that, but we did that. And it's so significant because we're speaking about second food retailer in Baltic states. A second thing, that sustainability is always a topic which is very close to humans, human heart, yeah? What I want to say that you don't need to spend time too much by convincing why we have to reduce food waste, why we have to recycle waste, because yeah, everyone wants clean nature. I want to go to a forest and I don't want to see all those plastic bags around. So from morality perspective, from value perspective, it's all clear for everyone, more or less. Just a few persons who are very, very, I don't know, who they don't believe in that. Fine, let's not focus on them. Let's hope they won't be managers, yours, and so on. But you don't need to spend on that too much. Spend better on business proposal, on calculating as much as you can, on trying to prove that it would work, and so on. Here's, I think, the focus where it should be. And a third thing, from very practical, pragmatical perspective, this is really a top career opportunities now. It's emerging, absolutely emerging, and the good thing also that you may get quite good remunerations, I think, in this area as well, compared to others. Yep. Now about values that help on everyday basis as well. So first is simplicity. You need it always, I think, in every step, in personal life, talking with police, talking with lawyer, talking with manager, whatever. Simplicity is the key in most of the cases, and especially in job. And in sustainability, you know, start explaining what is climate change for your management team, how it works, yeah? All that CO2, carbon cycles, soil impacts, and so on, forest impacts, atmosphere impact, solar radiation impact. They will say, come on, you're crazy, Liudvikas, it's too heavy, we can't do that. You need to explain it in a simple way. Don't use freons, use CO2 cooling equipment. Stop using diesel trucks, let's focus on electric trucks. That's it. And they will get it. Point. Yeah, less pollution, all clear, thank you. They don't need to understand all that complicated cycle, and you will be rewarded in this way, I think. Then transparency and sustainability, I think it's all clear. You have to be transparent, and here's also I want to mention, you have to be, how to say, straightforward. If you believe that this activity will not help, and tell that, yeah? If you believe that it's too PR-ish activity, it's just, you know, for communication perspective, tell that, yeah? Don't be afraid, because otherwise, again, if you won't be able to communicate that, it will be harder and harder in the future to get that real significant changes. So be transparent, tell where is actually the issues, tell what we need to do. You are the expert. That's what I want to say. You are the expert hired in this company for this topic. And then entrepreneurship, you know, one person, 13,000 people company, you have to have it. Otherwise, you will fail. You have to be proactive. You have to fall 25 times and raise up again. That's how it is. And you need to communicate with people. You need to maintain relations. You need to be, you know, very good in stakeholder management. It helps. It's like running business, running sustainability business in your business. You can say like that. Right, and a few advices. So what could I tell at the current stage? I would say in 6 months, maybe it will change, but right now. So focus on real issues. So I want to say skip too communicative and PR-ish activities. Focus on your real problems in the company. For example, if in Rimi we would focus, I don't know, let's save biodiversity in Brazil. We have probably 0.00001% impact on Brazil and rainforest, but we have 50% impact, let's say, on plastic waste in Latvia, for example, yeah? So maybe let's focus on plastic waste. Maybe let's focus that the products that are coming would have recyclable plastic or less plastic and so on. So don't fall in those PR and easy traps. do real things. That's what I want to say here. Then specialization. So the sustainability field is kind of like, you may ask maybe your parents, but the doctor, let's say 30 years ago, a doctor was everything. He was doing surgeries, he was family doctor, children doctor, management, psychologist, psychiatrist, and so on and so on. Now everything is so specialized, we have a finger surgeon even now, yeah? So the same will happen with sustainability, trust me. Now, you need to know what is life cycle assessment. You need to know what is CSRD and ESRS reporting. And it's a hell of a job. You need to know how to, for example, how to read all those green deals. So from legal perspective, yeah? So there are plenty of ways where we will need to specialize. I think such a word like sustainability specialist will disappear in the nearest future, and we will have reporting, we will have maybe sustainability legal issues specialists and so on. So I suggest really to find that most interesting way and be great there. Otherwise, you will be something about something and you may lose that competitiveness in the market. Then focus on low impacts. So very simple. Don't try to save world in Brazil. Save your local country. Focus on activities where, focus what you can do, how you can support local communities. I think this is where the companies quite often are a bit struggling. Then learn by doing. The field is very, very quickly evolving, and I think, but I would say like that. If you don't have any studies, if you're not studying it, if you're not like in university, whatever, don't be afraid. You will learn by doing very well. Because it's so developing fast. I think what we have learned 8 years ago, nowadays, in most of the cases, is a bit, I'm not sure if it's really applicable. What I had learned in 4 years in my studies in bachelor, probably I haven't applied nothing at all, apart from, how to create good parties as a student, how to do presentations, how to talk in English. That's all what I can take probably. And the last thing, data analysis. So learn it. If you don't know what it is, start doing that. I think in every function, not necessarily sustainability, but in every function, it could give you huge benefits. Now the companies, are fulfilled with all types of data. We collected, I don't know, for 15, for 20 years, everything what we have, and we're still learning what we can do with it. So be the one who could do that. Be the one who knows what to do with that data and how to have, fact-based decisions. That's like managers, boards, fact-based decisions. We love it. We love it, trust me. That's it from my side.
All right. That was very, very insightful and practical. And I would say so valuable. Thank you, Liudvikas. I'm beyond grateful that you shared so much of what it actually looks like to be in your shoes. Dear audience, just a reminder, now is the time, the last moment to ask any questions in the chat. As I don't see any questions in the chat yet, there are questions. Okay. First things first, just wanted to highlight a comment from Chloe that it's true, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. And almost all of our jobs have connection to sustainability. It just depends whether we lean into it. And that is very, very relevant to what you were sharing. And thank you, Chloe. Here's also a couple of questions for you. Liudvikas, how should someone start learning data analysis if you are not naturally a numbers person?
Okay, so it's all good. Maybe I was speaking too much from my side. Of course, in sustainability, there are areas where you can avoid probably deep data analysis. For example, working with local communities. Here you need kind of core communication person, like, extroverted person who goes into communities, who deals with them, who talks, who contributes with the teams and so on. Maybe data is not the most important here. I won't be able to do that job because I don't have a big skill. But maybe you, Chloe, could do that. Also, for example, from legal perspective, maybe you are very good in understanding the directives, the pages, 120. I mean, that's fine. That's very needed, because I would love that someone could do that instead of me in the company. So it's all good. But generally, data still, if you would come up with some decision, for example, I need to support community which is this and that, manager will ask why. Yeah, still why. So in this case, data will also a bit help. So maybe you don't need that huge Excels and pivot tables, but still a number of, okay, I know the size of community is 25,000 people. Other sizes are 10,000 people. So this is the largest one, 2 times bigger. If we would invest the same amount, we would get 2.5 times bigger return. That's cool. That's data already.
Exactly. Thank you. Jekaterina, there's also a question for you. As your story was so inspiring, that is what I'm adding. How can new sustainability professionals handle the uncertainty of making a career transition? Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's the question, not only about sustainability professionals and about career transition. It's about the navigating life as such in our current times where we live. First, pandemic, economic crisis, war in Ukraine, and all that stuff. Sometimes I also wake up and I feel that I cannot plan the next week. I have to plan for today, and then if I survive until the evening, then it's a good day. But still, we need to find the motivation to do it, and we still need to, like, in my opinion, we still need to believe that tomorrow will be the brighter future. And if you have this picture for yourself, if you have this plan, what I'm talking about, this really helped me. And I'm a person who point everything on my calendar, as Liudvikas also shared. I also block times in my calendar. I also have these focus times. I have low energy periods during my week, and I also mark them as blockers in my calendar. And this actually helped. Some other tips is, of course, finding the physical activity, what you have to take your mind off these career things, because this is how burnouts will come your way pretty soon. And for me, again, I mentioned meditation, yoga, running. Career coach also helped me a lot to find this motivation, because I usually see people, if they believe in what they do, they do it all the time. They don't have time to think about what tomorrow can bring. So yeah, it's still about navigating life for me. I hope that helped.
I hope that helps too. I think that that sums up also my experience, and I think that is kind of the general guidance that professionals could consider when they're in this position. There is one more question from Paula. You can figure out who wants to take this. I think both of you could answer it. A very simple question. ESG and sustainability initiatives sometimes come head to head with policymakers, corporations, and also society. How you stay motivated?
So from our side, from Rimi's side, if it comes to new regulations and feedbacks and consultations and, let's say, inputs, sharing, and so on, we are working through association. So we are not directly working with policymakers, but actually through associations, and we are speaking instead of all retailers, let's say, united in a country and bringing the decision. That's a bit easier. So we have a person who's always in front. He deals with all those, backs and forwards, and we are providing usually inputs. Very rarely we are going directly to policymakers, or that's how we work.
I can only add here that I don't have voice right now to work through associations, and Printify is like my current company's impact isn't that big yet. But for me to find this motivation is just to believe that you are the one who is the expert in the field. And this is also sounds similar to what Liudvikas shared in his presentation, that you are an expert. And if you can tell that something is working, something isn't working, then it's up to you. And you need to believe yourself that you have this experience, and you can work with policymakers, corporations, and then you can come to the room and tell your opinion.
Thank you. There is going to be one more question, especially for you, Jekaterina. How was your recruitment process with your current company, taking into account that before your background was not in sustainability? I asked this question because I realized that they will always ask for experience in the field. So how did you manage this?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and this is what I was afraid of doing and taking the leap, because I was also reading the job descriptions, and I was seeing that, oh, you need to have 10 years experience in sustainability, and I'm just, oh my god, sustainability wasn't on the market 10 years ago. And then I just really worked with my CV, and I formulated my soft skills and on my projects the same way as it could help and benefit me in the sustainability journey. So, like, a very practical tip. I took all the job openings, not only with Printify, but before applying to any other job. I took the job description and I took my CV, and then I find the similar places. So you need to work with the stakeholders. Okay, I worked with the stakeholders a lot before, and I worked with the C-level stakeholders. I worked with external parties a lot, and here are my results in that area. You need to work with the policymakers. Okay, I also worked with the policymakers in my international business experience. So I just listed the same experience what I have, but just transferring it to the new area. And when they asked me about my experience in sustainability, well, I told them honestly that I don't have straight experience, but I studied in sustainability courses, and I wrote sustainability strategies for companies during my studies. And here's my blog, here's my LinkedIn post. So I am in the field already somehow. So I know the field, and I follow the trends for already pretty much time. And it actually was 2 years ago. This really helped. And just believe in your soft skills, believe in your hard skills, which everything is transferable between industries.
All right, that's really, really interesting. And I think a very, very valuable advice as well. There is time for one more question, so I'll just read it out. Krisha is asking, first of all, thank you for such an insightful talk. She's sharing that I want to focus on sustainability in the fashion industry. My question is, should I stick to one particular industry, or in the beginning of the career, would you say it's necessary to look at this career in a holistic way and not filter to only one industry? Unfortunately, as of now, I do not find much fashion sustainability jobs in Germany, except big brands who demand a lot of years of experience.
So my advice would be, maybe I can start here. My advice would be just to look around and see what else you can do. Because if you cannot find a job in fashion sustainability, then maybe there are some simple way to find other area of your specialization in a clothes industry. And maybe it won't be fashion, maybe it would be retail, maybe it won't be retail, but it will be something else which is also connected. And if you have time, and if you have just a strong specialization in that, maybe you will find this. Just keep looking.
Okay, that's been incredibly useful. I hear a lot of very positive feedback also in the chat. It is time for us to wrap up because you saw Liudvikas' calendar. I imagine Jekaterina has a very similar one. So I want to once again thank both of you, Jekaterina and Liudvikas, for sharing your journey. Beyond grateful that you committed to this and did your best. And thank you, audience, as well, for showing up and being here and asking questions. And I hope this will be valuable for you too. All right. Have a good rest of the day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. Thank you.